Welcome to Dr. M's Vodcast, a vodcast with a mission to connect continuous improvement professionals across the world. Happy birthday, Ed. Oh, what a great guy, Edwards Deming. So many good things to say about them. I owe so much of my career to Mr. Deming and the good work he's done. Thank you, Dr. M and the entire planning committee for allowing me to drop confetti infinitely at the beginning of this meeting, mostly for some of your entertainment, but it's a birthday party. Let's be happy. And this is a nice birthday party. You don't have to take your shoes off to come and participate. That's optional. Everyone's welcome to come in, and we've got lots to share. At some point during the meeting, I will post a link to this mural so that everyone can watch these curated Deming interviews and links. And I'll just fly around the screen now just to give an overview for those who came early. We'll go through this a second time. But we'll be hearing from Bill Scherkenbach soon on what's going to happen in the next 25 years. Thank you, Bill, for being a part of this and definitely sharing. We'll also have some book giveaways. We have more than 6 book giveaways, and we'll make those announcements at the right time at the end. And then we've got questions from the audience, all the people that registered. We've got a lot of great questions for Bill. It's going to be a beautiful birthday celebration. I just got to reload the confetti poppers because I'm going to run out of confetti in about 25 more clicks. No, it's actually infinite.
Then, as I suggested, you reverse it. You go from up to down to up. That's it.
Yeah, I can do that in post video editing, Dr. M. I can make the confetti go in all directions.
Nice to see Eric, Bud.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Good
birthday.
to be here, Dr. M.
Balaji, namaskar.
Okay, it looks like we're getting critical mass, Dr. M. I think it's time to get this birthday celebration started. And let me just double check to make sure that the recording's going well. Yes, we've got fidelity. Happy birthday, William Edwards Deming. Oh, so incredible. Welcome, everybody, to this live webinar. If you're joining, today is a beautiful day. It is October 14th, 2025, and we're gathered here with over 16 countries to celebrate the birth of the man, the myth, the legend, Dr. William Edwards Deming, who's known as Ed to many of his friends. And today we're joined together with people from around the world, 16 countries in total. I'm going to turn it over to the illustrious, the man, the myth, the legend, the living legend, Dr. M, to tell us what we're going to do today. And I'll turn it over to you, Dr. M. This is your 10-minute intro. I'm timing you right now. We'll see how you do. Make it a quality introduction, please.
Me is... Oh, that's excellent. I mean, this was not planned, and you turned it over to me, right? So let's start, and here we go. All right. So I can't see the screen, but okay, this is the welcome. Okay, this is happy birthday, Dr. Deming, from Deming Forum of India and Dr. M's Learning Center. And this is something that I got. This is a birthday card from General Motors. This is somewhere around 1991. This is from the Edward Deming's, The World of Edwin Deming by
CEO.
Celia. Yeah, I got a cataract in my eyes, Balaji. So,
Yes.
so this is extremely good. So here you have appreciation of the system, theory of knowledge, theory of variation, is continuous, So that's what I picked up from there, and I said, let's see how it goes. And I was thinking of Bill, and I got this from the significant birthdays, what Cecilia said, and this is on page 265, because I have been always saying that if you quote the page number, quote the author, quote the book. So this is from page 265, and this is 1983. Bill, you're here. In 1983,
Yep.
he was. This is Deming's significant birthdays. There are the entire 2 pages of that what Cecilia has compiled in this book, and I read this out. I love this. In 1983, he was surprised. Deming was surprised 6 times by as many clients in as many cities. Miss Massachusetts joined one of the parties. Various hosts included Bob King, then of Western Electric, Jim Olson, the president of AT&T, William Hoagland of Quantic, and we have Bill, then at Ford Motors Company, and Mr. Henry Ford of the Eastern Motor Carriers. And it goes on, and she tells the various dates. So this is where I saw Bill, and I said I should flash this across from this book. So
Yeah, Dr. Would you like to share the screen?
I'm sharing the screen.
Yeah. He's sharing it.
Oh,
I'm
excellent.
sharing it.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay, so that's what I got Bill from, and I said, let's open it up. Welcome, Bill. Welcome to celebrate the 125th birthday of Deming with us.
Thank you.
2025.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Dr. M.
Nice of you, sir. And this is something that I couldn't resist. This is from the interview you gave in July, 21st July 2025 to Andrew. And this, I liked it because this is where Andrew asked you, when did you meet Deming? And this is what he said. I'm going to start with, since it's about Deming in 1972. I was newly married in April, but had been accepted by the NYU Graduate School of Business. And I don't know, I never found out who wrote the course syllabus. And whoever did write something that it sounded like a darn interesting course, sampling manufacturing. I was a protocol officer at the United Nations at that time and was going to the night school at New York University Graduate School of Business. So I said, that sounds like a good course, interesting. Had no idea who Dr. Deming was. And I walked into the first class, and there was an old, I'm 26, so he was 72 in 1972, and he was one of the only old person who didn't say, I used to be. And I don't know, I don't want to stereotype all my peers now that I am 79. Bill, I am 75. But hopefully I don't fall into, well, I used to be, and what happened? But he did tell, and I mean, statistics can be a very technical subject, and the way he taught it, I had the course in some theory of sampling, which was one of his books. Incidentally, the entire thing is there in the mural. This extract I'm only reading, but the interview of Andrew with Bill is there for all of you to go through. Okay, so just a second. So Bill is internationally recognized as one of the world's foremost authorities on the subject of quality and its implementation. Bill has over 50 years of experience of successfully delivering for diverse clients higher quality at lower cost. 20 of those years were spent with Edwards Deming, over 1,000 different client sessions worldwide. And so 1992, he won the Deming Medal. And this is what Deming said about Bill, and this is what he said. He was my student, and there's no one better in the world. It takes a little ingredient called profound knowledge, and he's got it. That's Deming too, and about Bill, our guest speaker today. So again, thank you. And over to you, Bill, to address us on this auspicious occasion to celebrating 125th birthday of Deming. And here we go.
Okay.
I'm going to address the next 125 years. I'm going to stop sharing. Over to you, Bill, and over to Felipe to conduct it further.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. We ready?
We're ready, Bill. And Dr. M, you did not disappoint. You almost got to the 10-minute mark. You were just 1 minute short. So, as I predicted, I just love it. As
luck would have it, he took the first 5 minutes of my talk explaining how I met with Dr. Deming. Yes.
we want to hear it in your words, Bill.
Well, as you were introducing me, and as Deming was many times introduced, he was fond of telling the story about a young girl, because he grew up in Cody, Wyoming, and a young girl was extremely happy because she had heard that a horse doctor was coming to town for the Wild Bill Western show. And so she was hugely excited, and she went to the meeting and came back, and she was completely deflated, completely forlorn. And her mother asked her what was wrong, and she said, "The horse doctor was only a man." She was expecting a horse to be the doctor. So he told it was a lot funnier. He very modestly told that story. One of the things that Dr. Deming always began his talks with is, why are we here? And before people could answer, he would say, well, some of you are here because the CEO said you had to attend. But even so, he stressed that even those that the CEO said had to attend, you're still here to learn. You're still here to have fun, although sometimes he had more fun than others. And you're here especially to make a difference, to do something with what you learn. As Dr. M said, I first met Dr. Deming in the fall of '72 at New York University, signed up for all 3 of his courses, and over the 2 years that I was there, because they looked interesting, at the time, as I had mentioned, or as Dr. M mentioned, I was protocol officer for the Military Staff Committee at the United Nations, and just wanted to get my advanced degree before moving on. Having said that, the text of the first course was from his book that he wrote in 1960, Sample Design and Business Research. And that's where I learned of he spoke of his travels to Japan. He also visited India and he visited India during those years in 46, 50, and 52. And he did that to collaborate with with your Prasanta Chandra Mahalanobis. Now we all know about Deming's work with Walter Schuhart, but he had a stellar reputation prior to that in survey sampling with his work at the Census Bureau. And it dovetailed nicely with Mahalanobis sampling work in India. And I learned that in Deming's second course, which used his Some Theory of Sampling, which is one of his most technical books. We'll talk about that in a little bit. As I said, or as Dr. Deming referred, Dr. Deming was the only person who wasn't saying I used to be. He focused on the future. Management's job is prediction. Now, he hadn't, in 1972, he hadn't codified his 14 points or the deadly diseases or profound knowledge, but he did talk about production viewed as a system diagram. Hello?
Someone's mic is off.
Okay, that's fine. Production viewed as a system diagram that he put on the blackboards in Japan. He showed us this book. I think there are no copies left, but this is the English translation
I
of
have it.
his lectures in Japan in 1950. But all of you are familiar with Dr. Deming's taking a very linear model of design it, try to make it, and try to sell it. And he created a system model with the advancements of survey sampling for consumer research. That focus, as he said, management's job is prediction. The focus is what brings us here today. He, in his first class, I remember one of his early questions was, "What business are you in?" It was the precursor to constancy of purpose. Are you so focused on getting better and better at some specific product or service that you miss a changing market? Back in 1972, he talked about RCA, made the best vacuum tubes in the world, but they missed, with their focus on vacuum tubes, they missed the transition to transistors. He spoke about Underwood typewriter, focusing on the mechanics of the typewriters. For the younger people, there were mechanical keyboards, and that's how you printed out stuff. You had to type it. But they missed IBM's work in electrifying that. Not the Selectric, but electrifying the typewriter. And Douglas Aircraft focused very much on propellers, making internal combustion engines, reciprocating combustion engines, and they missed the transition to jets, end up having to merge with another company. In the 80s, some of you who had the privilege of attending, and early 90s, some of his 4-day seminars, he would talk, because his major clients were Ford and GM at the time, he would talk about carburetors being replaced by fuel injectors. Maybe he suggested it would have been better to focus on providing a stoichiometric mixture of fuel and air to an internal combustion engine. What business are you in? What's your constancy of purpose? What's your vision for the future? I know one of the many of you are probably here to find out exactly what's gonna happen between now and 2150. But I'm not crazy enough to predict the state of technology in 125 years. This isn't a Miss Universe contest, so world peace, not going to happen, unfortunately. However, in 125 years, water, food, energy, the optimization of those. But quite frankly, the big problem always has been not the supply of those, but the distribution of water, food, and energy throughout the world. Hopefully that will be optimized. Now, with the advances in genetics and medicine, someone born this year could be alive in 125 years from now. Or we could all be back in the Stone Age if technology takes a different path. At the very least, any technology as it has progressed forever in human history, any technology will be gamed by some people. And because of AI, it's going to be gamed by the technology itself. Someone will always find a way to game the system. Are we going to solve that? I don't know. But 125 years in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of the cosmos, isn't even a blip in one kalpa. But okay, enough of that side. On the positive side, I think we can agree that people will still very much want to take joy in what they do, to be appreciated as an individual and as a member of a group. Okay, now this is a question I asked as I help clients begin to codify their constancy of purpose. And I'm asking all of you now, we'll see if this technology works, Felipe. Can you think of a time in your life when you belonged to an organization that really, really made you proud to belong? It could be a member of a team, a family, a motorcycle gang, or just by yourself. What was it in that situation, in that group, or you that made you proud or gave you joy? Like every one of you to take a minute, think about it, and then I'll open it up for a few answers if you wish to share them.
Yeah, so let's get all of those in the chat, and then, like Bill said, we'll take a few people out loud. So they're starting to come into the chat now.
Okay, let's listen. Well, again, take a minute to think about it. Although some of those occasions might just absolutely jump out at you.
Yeah, they're starting to come into the chat now. So we've got a few answers, and like Bill said, take a full minute and plug in there. As soon as you have your answer, just go ahead and hit enter.
Let's see. Eric Budd saying a member of a sports team in high school, smallest school in our city. We supported each other, cheered for each other, success, participated in the state tournament as a team. Terry Rosen, everything is switching quickly. Teaching in Denver was by far the most rewarding.
Yeah, we're getting a good mix of some sports
Yep,
and professional work as well, Bill.
yeah, yeah. Let's see here. Is there a way to stop the scrolling, or
Hey,
or
you'll just have to scroll
well,
up.
we'll let people continue to contribute. Seeing my end customer appreciate my work, converted an idea to results. Being part of a Toastmasters club. Freedom I got in the company that I served for about 15 years allowed me to fail and learn, explore, always felt encouraged to try new things. Those are absolutely, absolutely great. Absolutely great. We'll build on those later on in this portion. But even though it's a chat, I can see people smiling, and that's the important thing. Fantastic, appreciate it. Now the question is, what are you going to do to make this so in your life today? What are you going to do? Fond memories, you've got to make them happen. The Chinese philosopher Mencius, who I think should be the patron saint of all quality consultants, said in response to people questioning the king's wisdom, don't suspect that the king lacks wisdom. Even in the case of things that grow most easily in the world, they would never grow up if they were exposed to sunshine and warmth for one day and then to cold and darkness for 10 days. For it's seldom that I have an audience with the king, and when I leave, others who expose him to cold and dark arrive. The lesson: wisdom and virtue require consistent cultivation, not sporadic exposure. Now, in many of his seminars, Deming would say, I'm not a businessman, not trying to be one. His approach to improving organizations was to put people who he thought were masters of his teachings into the organization to facilitate the transformation when he wasn't there. Ron Moen at Pontiac, Gypsy Rainey at GM Powertrain, and I was at Ford. We were his agents when he wasn't there. At Ford, he averaged about 3 days a month with a 4-day seminar every quarter. It was about the same at GM. Now, we would arrange meetings when he came with the various vice presidents and middle managers, as well as the willing workers, so Deming could teach and get the perspective on how they were doing. For instance, for Ford's constancy of purpose, which we call the mission, values, and guiding principles, we participated with the Statistical Methods Office, participated with human resources, strategic planning, operations, finance, for about 2 years. We started early in 1983, and it was introduced to the company in November of 1984 at Boca Raton, and it was introduced by Henry Ford II in his farewell speech to the leadership of the company. This is our constancy. This is the future as he saw it. Heavily staffed, though. I repeat, it took 2 years to come up with and agree on the vision. And now the hard part, living the vision, mastering the vision. And this is where point number 5, continual improvement, comes to play. You're looking to continually improve everything around your living, your vision, your constancy, your purpose. Now, in many cultures, this is a dilemma. Do you want things to stay the same, or do you want things to change, to continually improve? The 14 points, or as Dr. Deming first wrote, the 14 obligations of management, are an interdependent system, not a pick and choose menu. Having said that, I think point number 1, constancy of purpose, and point number 5, continual improvement, as well as point number 8, drive out fear, are the 3 that you should start with, because I found they naturally lead to the rest of them. Now, for you who know my work of operationalizing Deming's philosophy, you're not going to find these 3 things surprising. We get things done by communicating on physical, logical, and emotional levels. Constancy of purpose, physically etched in stone. This is what we're going to do. Continual improvement using logical, analytic methods, not necessarily, well, we want this. Today, we're not going to discuss the major differences between enumerative and analytic. Dr. Deming, as we all knew, championed the use of analytic methods. And drive out fear. Not only that, but encourage joy. Driving out fear and encouraging joy regulate the emotional temperature. If you only use the approach that works for you, others are not going to follow. Now, continual improvement, when we talk about that, is often misfocused on production processes. You train up and educate people on the plant floor, the bank tellers, or office, or operating room in the analytic methods which enable you to improve the process. And there are all sorts of courses and certifications that are established to facilitate this, which unfortunately, in my opinion, quality professionals spend too much of their time arguing and name calling as which one is the best one. One of the things Dr. Deming told me was to take the arguments private. He said in the early days of hashing out quality methods in public, it just confused management about the whole quality profession. And I still don't know of a VP for quality who's ever been promoted to a CEO. And so the confusion also leads to another thing that from Dr. Deming. And we should be focusing on not the production process, but how something is designed, the design of the product or service. That's where the leverage is. Once something is designed, quality, cost, delivery, the speed to market, are pretty much built in. Study after study has said that if you spend $1 in the design, you could save $100 to $500 if you miss it in the design and have to patch it in production. Even more leverage is gained by improving quality of the decisions made by top management. Again, Dr. Deming said, where is quality made? At the top and in the design. This is where I think some form of AI can make a real contribution to what has been a human-centric endeavor, whether it's management or the creativity of design. Not because AI will emote and feel or take over human-centric stuff, but it's going to free up more time for management and leaders to be human. As more and more silos of information are interconnected, and of course, more and more will be private and proprietary, as we know. They're all are available, or they will be available for design to make improvements that optimize the whole system. Likewise, management must add the human part to the business equation because they're going to have more time for it, with AI freeing up time spent on technical matters. Management spends time on human matters, leadership. I was part of a committee commissioned by Don Peterson, Ford's CEO, to find out what was standing in the way of implementing Dr. Deming's recommendations. We asked employees, what's holding you back? What is preventing you from implementing Ford's mission, values, and guiding principles? And the answers we got were surprising to us. Very few mentioned specific written policies and procedures. Most said it was unwritten, the unwritten way that we managed processes that needed to be changed. They did things because that's the way they'd always done things at Ford. They just needed assurance that they could change the processes without their loyalty being challenged or their careers being shortened. It's the culture. Who's responsible for the culture? It's the management. That brings us to point number 8, drive out fear. They just needed assurances they could change the processes without their loyalty being challenged and their careers shortened. Now, this is a lot more difficult than just changing a policy and procedure. A whole system of interconnecting processes, including training, people selection, promotion, and yes, retirement. The way we conducted meetings and counseling, to name a few, needed improvement to facilitate the mastery of our vision. But removing obstacles is not sufficient. The removal of fear doesn't result in joy. As we know from Taguchi, a lack of a negative is not a strong positive. The key to joy of ownership is joy of workmanship. And as long as humans are a part of the process, what will ignite joy in one person will smother another. Earlier, I asked you what gave you joy. The improvement starts with you. A few decades ago, Robert Roden brilliantly, I think, surmised that customers in the e-commerce marketplace would soon demand products that were free, perfect, and now. In the AI realm, customers and employees will expect bespoke experiences, cost, quality, and delivery specific to each one of 8 to 10 billion people on this planet. What should you do? Here's what Dr. Deming told management and engineers in 1950. He had this in his in the book or in the translation here. He said, and I quote, "One thing you can do, and it's very necessary for you to do, is to have meetings with each other whenever it is possible. These meetings and the groups that meet need not be at all formal. Dr. Dem can arrange it. They can be very simply organized. All you need is someone willing to make the arrangements and find a speaker. Notify the members of the group and fix some place to talk. In most cities, there can usually be found a professor who could assist you. This afternoon, I suggest you meet together and discuss what could be done and decide. The main thing to do is something quickly. After 2 or 3 years, you will look back on this year, 1950, and you'll be able to see the result. At first, many discouraging things may happen. You may be disappointed. You will have to be patient. You must never let your studies stop. I believe the power that started here will become a great asset and power for better living, happier living, for peace, and for the good of the world." What he told the Japanese managers in 52. Okay. Now my challenge to you all. I think Dr. M has mentioned that as a big thank you for taking the time, I'm going to send each of you a PDF version of my second edition book, The Deming Route to Quality and Productivity. It's got insights and photographs. Hope you got something actionable out of the talk. Now, my challenge to you, I think I'm trying to remember, want to give credit to, I think it was Stephen Covey, who always ended his lectures and talks with this question. Again, going to require the chat. Out of all of the things that you learned today, and I know some of you know a lot already, but so maybe if it reminded you of stuff you already knew. But of all the things you learned today, take one of them and write it down. What are you going to do to apply it in your life or your business tomorrow? It's late in the day over in India, but what are you going? Otherwise, I'd say today. But what are you going to do to apply it? Okay, start thinking about it and put stuff in the chat, and we'll end this thing. We'll get the party going.
Okay, we're starting to get answers in the chat now. And for everybody, I've got Bill's book. I will post it to the mural, and we'll share that once we start the Q&A. So everyone will have a chance to download Bill's book as a gift, a birthday present from Bill to all of you for being here live with us today.
developing agents of positive change when I'm not at the clients.
And while those are coming in, and Bill, you're taking those, some people have deposited some questions in the chat, and some people have private DM me. I see the questions there. Before we get to the survey questions, we'll start with the live questions for those of you that are here. So let's just test to see how well we can make Bill dance with these. And Bill, I've looked at some of these questions in the chat. They're actually easier than any of the AI questions that you have in the from the survey responses. So I think you're going to do okay.
Okay. Actually, as I was thinking about it, hopefully this won't go over time, but uh, I think the elephant in the room is I spoke about Ford and GM and other companies, and they were fine when Dr. Deming was there and when a CEO was there, but they not crashed and burned, but fell away and then came back again. One of the things that I learned, or at least that I think is going to help mitigate that situation, is that we really at the time didn't see that the board of directors was absolutely key to continuing the feedstock of the CEOs. If the board of directors, and so you've got to make sure, those of you in companies, whether family dominated or public, you've got to make sure you've got some smart people on the board of directors that can help that constancy, can help not every time a new CEO came in. Peterson was great while we were there. A financial person came in afterwards and gave some lip service. So uh, we did not, and we didn't see it at the time, that the board of directors is hugely, hugely influential in getting the feedstock of CEOs that can lead the change that Dr. Deming or anyone is talking about. There's too much variation, in my opinion, on CEOs. Everyone thinks they've got the answer. You need that constancy. You need to be able to establish the constancy, establish that vision, and be able to master it.
Yeah, that's why I think Deming was so key on the power of a crisis. And then there's been other change agent folks, like there's been John Cotter's done a lot of work in the same space during the time Deming was alive, and even now, talking about that necessity for that constancy of purpose, lifted right from Deming's guidance. That's a great advice, Bill. So I think we'll transition now to some of the questions from the chat. And I like Eric made a comment too about the mobility of management being one of the deadly diseases. Absolutely correct, Eric. I see this across companies in my industry as well, in construction. Okay, so let me go up to one of the first questions from Fossil for Bill. And Bill, this is coming from the chat. You don't have this one, so I'm just going to read this one out loud.
Okay.
We'll take this one, and then we'll transition into the mural, and then we'll bounce back over. So Fossil says, how can I quantify 7 wastes to convince how much of a company is losing on a daily basis? Or is it not a good idea to pursue this line?
I had used the big word bespoke only once in my talk. But when you're counseling, when you're trying to influence anyone, you've got to do your market research. What do they respond to? What measures are important for them? Is it physical, logical, or emotional, or what combination of them? And as you're going to hear over and over again in this question period, what are you going to do with the answer? What are you going to do with the answer?
Yeah, that's a good one. And then I got one more question from the chat. Thank you, Fasto, for putting that in. We've got one from Shen. Question: yesterday was Navy 250 and W. Edwards Deming in the U.S. Navy. In 1984, the Navy adopted Deming's principles, calling it total quality leadership. The U.S. Navy saw the potential of Deming's philosophy for improving quality in the 1980s, but the initiative was eventually abandoned by later leadership teams. Wow, so there's a common theme here, Bill. But some
Yeah.
sources indicate the Navy continues to find parallels between quality theory and modern military doctrine. So, coming down a little more backstory in the question here is, do you see, what would Deming say to this change, and uh, what would be the most pressing part of Deming's philosophy to help the Navy stay the course? I'm using a Navy pun on purpose.
Oh boy. Oh boy. And I'm an old Naval Academy graduate as well. Um, Politics is a strange process. I um, I go back to how uh, the various admirals are chosen, and from my understanding, the it's a political decision. So it depends on who is in office, civilian control of the Pentagon. I was there during the TQL birth and had the opportunity to speak and teach and counsel a whole bunch of 4 stars and 3 stars and on down. And there was excitement on some of them, uh, but uh, but again, it gets into the selection criteria. I think that what applies to any organization, including the Navy, is the leaders, whether you're a physical leader, you've got the stars on the board, or you're a logical leader. There are some thought leaders and an emotional leader, people who are followed because they can inspire people. All of those need to be encouraged, but they uh, need to have some and some vision to be able to coalesce around. And so the mission, that constancy of purpose, um, uh, back when I was helping them, they had the emotional commander's intent, under which was the emotional, what in a situation would you do if something is really, really kinetic. And there was the logical understanding the orders, and then there are the orders shut up and fly wing in Navy Air. So um, I don't want to ramble on that, but
Okay, good. We'll transition. Well,
the
yeah,
opportunities in the Navy are the same as in any corporation. How do you select your leaders?
that's great. So I just dropped in the chat for everybody the mural link. No sign up is necessary. Just click on the link and you'll be able to join the mural board that has all that curated Deming content, as well as Bill's book. I'm going to share the screen, Bill. We're going to transition to some of the Q&A that's already been prepared from the people that registered and shared. That's amazing. Thank you, everybody, for doing that. So that is on the screen now, and you'll see that I've got just here to the side, here's the PDF of Bill's book, second edition, with all the pictures. You can just hit this download button right here, and then you can save it to any of your favorite devices. You can read on your phone if you want to. So we're going to go into the prepared Q&A. And Bill, you said you wanted to take question number 1. So I've got question number 1 on the screen. Kamal asked, how would you explain quality to a 10-year-old?
Very simply. Now, anyone on this, I don't know if there are many people in this seminar on this Zoom call would appreciate it. Well, I'll explain it. The way I would explain quality to a 10-year-old is is zero latency. Anyone know what that means? The old folks would. How many of you spent in the early days waiting 10 minutes to download a program? Latency is the gaming terms. You have immediate zero latency, zero lag. That is quality to a 10-year-old. Anywhere in the world, they're on their phones.
Yeah, that's a really good example, Bill. I can relate to that one. I've got well, he's not 10 anymore, but he very much would understand that one. So we'll go to the next section of Q&A. These are all questions that were curated that touch Deming's ideas and contemporary relevance. So we've got a handful of questions on the screen, Bill, and we'll let you choose which one you want to answer, and I'll mark it.
Okay, well, I can start from the top.
All right.
Fata Antariksa. Fata Antariksa. Why do you think Dr. Deming's concepts are often perceived as difficult by business owners? I would actually extend that to anyone. The people don't like to be changed or to indicate that they need to change, no matter where you are in the organization. But business owners have gotten to where they are by doing some things pretty savvily. If they've been in business for more than a few years, I would one of the quotes Daniel Borstein mentioned was, but the biggest problem to the advancement of knowledge throughout history hasn't been ignorance, it's been the illusion of knowledge. And Dr. Deming said, we know a lot that isn't so. Ask yourself how much better it could have been if you had tried something else. And so I think he also said, don't mistake success for success or confuse success with success. So business owners got there by grit and ideas and the ability to follow through on their ideas to build something. But the good ones, I think, should be can be open to new things.
That's great, Bill. And then we got a related question from the chat. This was from Dr. Ralph Heller. What would Deming challenge us to unlearn if he saw the systems we lead today?
Oh, wow. I think the same things. I would up. It's it always is personal. When you speak, you can't really speak in general about leaders or anyone. You have to be bespoke. What what are you trying to do? What are you trying to get the person to do? What is your market research to better calibrate how they've taken action previously? So, what they have to unlearn is very personal. I mean, on the emotional level, there are prejudices and as the music South Pacific, you have to be carefully taught and untaught. But it's if you are trying to coach someone, you need to understand where they're coming from. Logical, they might have some pretty locked up good ideas, but as far as the logic of the scientific or enumerative or analytic method, but there are improvements to those. In the physical level, Dr. Deming said that some of the things that you do, if they're in statistical control, you have to change the system completely. I mean, I've used the example for years in high jump in the Olympics. Everyone was doing the Australian saddle jump, but Fosbury came and changed the world as far as a different way to do the high jump. Those people who were doing the Australian straddle had to completely change their system if they were going to improve. So knowledge, the physical, logical, and emotional things can all be barriers, and they all can be enablers.
That's great. And we'll go to the next section. We're going to come back, try to get all the questions that we can. So if you got questions and you're putting them in the chat, don't worry. We'll try to get to all the questions. We've got time here. In the next section here, Bill, we've got insights from Deming's work. We've got a handful of questions here. Which one would you like to take?
Oh, I don't. I'll start from the top.
Okay. So we've got
So,
from Ashok, from all of Dr. Deming's learnings, what are your top three that businesses worldwide must adopt now, especially with AI and superintelligence emerging?
I quite honestly would go with the three that I spoke with today. And again, it's a whole system, but point one, constancy of purpose, point five, continual improvement, and point eight, drive out fear. Those are the three things that I would work on in any company to to be able to compete in the superintelligence market.
That's great. And then we go to the next section here, application of the age of AI, cloud, and automation. I'm just going to follow your lead finally here, Bill. We'll go to the top one. KV has how do Deming's principles apply to emerging tech like AI, Internet of Things, and cloud computing?
Hmm. I would go back to the um, his work and understanding of theory of knowledge, part of profound knowledge. You really have to AI and the Internet of Things and cloud computing um, all need to be. I I think before one of the things that I've developed over the years based on the PDSA cycle is something that Deming talked about. He said, where do questions come from theory? And with that, I developed a cycle that started with theory, went through questions, questions get data, and you take action. The only reason you're looking at data is to take action. And so all of the AI is you really have to go through that cycle, and actually the reverse of the cycle. In order, if you're taking action, how could you take better action? You look at, well, how, you need to look at better data information that you're getting. How do you get better data? You've got to ask better questions. How do you ask better questions? You need to come up with new theory. And theory is just a connection of concepts, new perspectives. Um, and so all of those need to be incorporated in the before AI. Just the programming um, needs to be looked at. In the electronics industry, they have automatic inspection machines, and I would ask them, okay, what does the program look like that's driving this machine? And it took about 4 or 5 different people to figure out, okay, get a name for the person who programmed this. And we looked at the program, or I looked at the program, and we saw that for something to get a green light to go on pass through production, it could fail 4 times, and inspecting on the 5th time, it was passed. And so it could have passed on any of those, but they gave them 5 chances, which happens in a second or two because of the speed of electronic stuff and AI and Internet of Things. All of that information is making decisions. You need to understand with some profound knowledge, if you will, certainly uh, um, theory of knowledge, just what are the tests that they're going through? What logic are they using? Why would you test 5 times? Well, in order to keep the product flowing, of course. So you've got to get into the nuts and bolts of how did the AI learn? What LLMs were used? Are you using your proprietary silos, or are you using silos of data that are available to everyone? and can be manipulated by everyone. I could go on, but that's what I see now.
No, that's great. And we'll transition to the human side. So in the section here, we've got the human side of quality and leadership. We'll start with Colleen's question here. In the age of data and automation, how do we honor the emotional and relational dimension of work, like fear, pride, and meaning, while still using rigorous methods like statistical process control or Lean Six Sigma?
Well, I think that you have to make visible what fear does to the rigorous methods, as Colleen said, of SBC or Lean Six Sigma. Where there's fear, you can't trust any of the data. I mean, there are millions of examples of people holding back, not taking the initiative because of fear. Um, so you have to make that whole process when you're diagramming your processes. Um, Make sure you're highlighting some emotional frequencies as well as the physical and logical, use this method or that method. Uh, I think they need to be made visible. And it depends on your culture on how you're going to do that. When I helped clients in Asia, I spoke about removing fear, and to a person, they say, "Oh, we don't have fear here. It's respect." Uh, uh, so it depends on your culture on how you would address that, colleague.
That's great. And then on this section here for aspiring quality engineers, Manish says he's just graduated 2025, and he wants,
Congratulations.
yes, and he wants to become a quality engineer. What skills should he focus on to be great?
Well, again, it's got to be bespoke. Do you have a job yet, Manish? Okay, is that what you're looking for? Um, do you need, as I had mentioned, there are all sorts of certifications that I know ASQ offers. Um, whether those are the right skills. But again, what is the aim? What are you going to do? What are you looking to do based on the answer? If it's to get a job, the answer would be if there's a company you really, really would like to work for or with, what do they do your research? What are they looking for? Many times academia as well as ASQ doesn't know beans about uh, what what a particular company needs and wants and is looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll go back to the top, and Bill said he wanted to change it up. So if anyone wants to, before we go back through the questions a second time, if anybody who's live here with us wants to come off mute and ask Bill a question, please raise your hand in Zoom, and Zoom will tell us in order. We'll take a few questions live, and then we'll transition back to our questions from the sign up. So just raise your hand, and we'll take you one at a time.
You have Pratik this side.
So we've got Shen. Go ahead, Shen. You can come off mute and ask your question.
Hi, Vivian. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. My question is related to AI still. AI to me, perspective like entropy and anti-entropy are true. So if Dr. Deming still alive in today's year of AI, when he witness a lot of AI illusion generated at the very beginning of the AI year, how he connected to those fundamental principles in 14th and tell those AI leaders um, um, to keep those fundamental parts. So this is about the question. Yeah.
Felipe,
Yes.
I am like the doctor, very, very hard of hearing.
Let me repeat that again. So in the year of AI generate a lot of entropy, entropy,
Yes,
entropy.
entropy. Yeah.
It's the root of the chaos. Like the people cannot follow the order, cannot keep the routine to improve. If Dr. Deming still alive and witness today's reality in the year of AI, how he connect the uh the principle 14th and to tell those AI leaders to truly lead. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a question pointed to the people that are leading these AI companies, Bill. How would Dr. Deming talk to, we'll just pick like Sam Altman at OpenAI. What would Deming tell somebody like Sam about what entropy they're causing, some of these unintended consequences with their technology today from Deming's principles perspective?
I mean, there's sort of a dichotomy of when Dr. Deming and I spoke of high entropy and low entropy systems. High entropy system, quite honestly, was a system that was in control within those boundaries anyway. The lower entropy, you're trying to establish some more predictability beyond the chaos within something in control. But beyond that, I quite honestly do not know. Can't predict what Dr. Deming would have said, except that well, I honestly do not know more than that.
Yeah, that's a Sean, that's a good question to ask AI. If you context it right with Dr. Deming's work, it could actually give you that answer. I've had those types of conversations before, and those are very interesting. But we're going to take the next question here from Pratik. Pratik, go ahead and come off mute, and then Terry, you'll be next.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks, Philippi. Hi, William. My
Hello.
question,
Hello.
there are two questions. First one is there any type of systems, I mean, the open system and a closed system, first of all? Second is there any litmus test for the quality? If the company is following some quality focused, so do we have any litmus test that the company is focused on more on quality or not?
As far as litmus tests, I mean the litmus test in business is are they in business in over the long term? Are they making money? Are they supplying jobs for people? And I think Dr. Deming's litmus test would be that. But again, it depends on the company and what you're going to do with the answer. Every company's approach is a bit different, and you would like to be able to have them uh, focus on the constancy and focus on improvement. So the litmus test for Deming is, are you in business for the long term, and thus is chain reaction of providing jobs and more jobs, and that I think would be Dr. Deming's litmus test.
Yeah, and I would say a lot of people don't remember, but Deming actually started out as a physicist. And so to answer your first question about closed systems and open systems, I think you could go first principles in physics and get that answer. And depending on who you read, you'll realize that there's no such thing as a closed system. It's kind of like a mental model. But I'll leave that to the physicist nerds out there. We'll go to Terry, and then I'm going to go back into the chat. Go ahead, Terry.
Uh, Bill, it's a pleasure to see you again. I got to be in one of your courses in Austin. And then I bothered you about,
yes, Terry. Okay.
about Deming's videos. Yes. And I will remind you that you told us all to write something down, and that was when you pulled up the all white beads in a paddle. And I did write that down. So that was one of my memorable
One in
moments.
a million. One in a million. Yeah.
Yeah. I have two questions, but I'll go with the first one and see how that goes. I know that I'm passionate about Deming's work, discerning the difference between enumeration and analysis. And I had the pleasure of meeting Ron Moen in Denver during a conference, and he expounded on that and how he thought that area of study was unappreciated and had a lot of potential for expansion. And I wondered if you had any thoughts on that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Quite honestly, you need both. Someone, I think, asked a question about high P versus low P situations. The problem with AI, if you're using enumerative methods that focuses on p-value, it all depends on things are significant if the sample size is large enough, and in the AI age you'll have billions of data points. So the enumerative methods, as we all know, focused on what are you going to do with what you have in your hand? How are you going to use it, dispose it? How usable is it? Whereas the analytic methods are focusing on the process that gave you this output, and so you have to absolutely use the analytical methods, visual methods, and build those methodologies into the AI. I was asked when I was a member of the board at ASQ back in the 90s, part of a future thing. What do you think will the Jetsons be here in the year 2000? But one of the things I said needed to be done, which still hasn't been done, is have you built the experiments, have you built the analytic methods into the workspaces that engineers, designers, teachers, any of these professions use, lawyers, doctors, any of them use, those should be built in to their workspaces. And this AI gives a great opportunity to do that.
Thank you. My other question is about the 14 points and the 7 deadly diseases. It seems to me that if we look at those purposefully, we can do the math and find out that fully 2/3 of those are things that Deming is telling us to quit doing. Drive out fear is a good example. Quit making people afraid. That's extraordinary, and yet whenever in the workplace, if somebody wanted to pursue any sort of improvement, I've never seen anybody bring up, hey, we need to quit doing this thing. It's always, well, how could we make this better? How could we make that better? With the assumption in the context that better means that we're going to improve features, let's say. And it just seems to me that there's a massive opportunity almost everywhere to dramatically improve quality by ceasing doing the things that he told us to quit doing. Did you see that kind of happening everywhere as you did your consulting with Dr. Deming?
Sure. I mean, but that's why I purposely mentioned today the lack of a negative isn't a strong positive, that yes, you want to reduce fear, but the reduction of fear doesn't instill joy. And so that's where people who are trying to help companies improve need to focus. Again, it's very cultural, but the fear, once you remove fear, the obligation, and it's a separate one, is to improve the joy people take, and that's one of the purposes of my earlier question. Can you think of a time in your life when you experienced great joy? And now, how can you replicate that in your life?
As a school teacher, I'd see that the vast majority of my students are experiencing some form of fear. And I have some perspective on how to make that go away, but not how to do it as an institution. And I've known various kinds of policies that we all dealt with that should be gotten rid of and replaced with something that does not create fear. Is the creation of joy moot if there's still fear in the system?
I don't think so. The opposite of fear is not necessarily joy. So, but again, any teacher, as any manager, needs to use bespoke methods. If you say the class is not an actionable thing, the individual students are, and that's where many of the lessons, I would think, in technical stuff will be taken over by AI, and teachers need to rethink what their job is.
Okay. Thank you, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Terry. I've got, for those of you on the screen, there's been a couple questions about how to download the PDF. So here you can see a preview in Mural, and this is just the software. It's nothing that I can control. in this preview version, you want to click down here on this big view button on the bottom right of the PDF. So once you click on view, you get this different view that unlocks all these other icons. Like here's the big download file button on the top left. Once you click on the view, so you got to click on view first and then download the file here. It'll create a pop-up window and then you'll be able to download the PDF, the full PDF there, or you can preview the 211 pages in this browser here, but I don't recommend it. I recommend you download it. So click on view, and then at the top, it's got the title of the file, and right next to .pdf is the download file button. So hope everyone can navigate that. And if you have any trouble with that later, just let me know. Send me a private message, and I will. I'll make a how-to video later outside of this chat. But I want to go back into the Q&A. So
I'll one more comment on that. If you like that, and you happen to have Apple equipment, the Apple version, not the Kindle. The Kindle, this is the Kindle version, but the Apple version has audio from Dr. Deming and videos from Dr. Deming and me. So it's more interactive, but you have to go on Apple to get that, not PDF.
yeah, it's a good idea if you've got it. Okay, so going back to the Q&A. So just working back down. Actually, before we go, I've got one more in the chat, Bill. So this was asked earlier, and let me just find the message here. So this one comes from Balaji. Who prompted Dr. Deming to christen what he put together as profound knowledge? The correspondence suggests it was a particular person that did that. He used terms like outside knowledge, deep knowledge, and vast knowledge before that.
I don't think any one person did that. I can remember on a Deming user group meeting in San Diego, we had a question, and Dr. Deming at the time was still focusing on statistical, some of the statistical tools, and Dr. Lori Bradling asked the question, well, how could psychology help? And before Deming could answer, I piped up and reminded him that stuff that he already knew, but that the greatest statistical treatise in the world, if you're looking for action, people need to take action, and if they don't understand or they don't feel it or they don't see it, using psychology on how people react to things and would be a very useful component of that. But he spoke to, and he agreed with that. But Lori Bradling, who was a PhD psychologist, asked that question, and I don't remember what year it is, but it was before Dr. Deming came up with, I mean, he had been speaking about theory of knowledge and obviously systems thinking, but it was developed through a number of people that he worked with.
Excellent.
I mean, we each had our perspective on what happened, but I'm sure he definitely got ideas from a number of people on that. Now, when we were talking about it, he said, he told me profound was used because people would say, okay, statistics, yeah, psychology, yeah, HR does that. But he was saying that it's more than just nodding your head. You have to really be able to internalize it and as before you can externalize it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I just been notified in the chat. Thank you so much for the insights. It is you people are correct. It is only the cover page to the book, so we will get the full PDF there. Just to eliminate the confusion, I'm going to remove the single page preview, and let me get those out of there. We'll get that to everybody so that you can have access to that. It'll be in the mural. Give us at least a few hours post the event to get the correct full PDF there. So no worries there. You'll have access. Bookmark the mural so that you don't lose it, and you can come back to it in a little while. Now I want to make one quick announcement before we go back into Q&A. And Bill, you're doing a great job. We're going to be giving away 16 different books. So several different authors, some of them are on the call now, have volunteered to give some books away. So we will contact, if you are a winner of a book, you will get an email from the planning committee letting you know that you won the book, and we'll make arrangements to have the book shipped to you. So you'll receive it. So that's all going to happen post event. We don't have the technology to do that live in the event, but AI will help make it happen. And some of the smartest people I know on this call are going to make sure that it's fair. And Deming would be happy that we're giving away so many gifts on his birthday. So I'm going to go back into the Q&A, and I'll go back to you, Bill. So on the foundational understanding here, Ryan asked, if you were to start over in your continuous improvement journey, from the perspective of a manufacturing engineer, which parts of Deming's system of profound knowledge or his 14 points would be priority one? How would you introduce it to other people?
Well, I think I would also the three that I had mentioned, 0.15 and 8, even though there are and that gets you let's see, well, it gets you statistics or variation, it gets you uh, uh, certainly psychology. But they're all interconnected. It really, as starting it as a manufacturing engineer, I also would focus on what do you think your company needs, and how can you fulfill that? What gives you joy? What part would you like to learn more about? They're all interconnected, so whatever you start with, you're going to end up hopefully with a whole thing. But it's specific to you, and it's specific to your company.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. I'm gonna drop the mural link one more time for some folks have asked, have joined and dropped off and come back. So here's that mural link again in the chat so that you can bookmark it, save it. Okay, going down to the contemporary relevance. So Samir says, how in the current volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous world makes Deming's thinking even more relevant than ever?
Well, I I know the military a few years ago was using those terminology, but I mean it. I don't know know if it makes Deming's thinking more relevant than ever. In any day and age, there are things that pop up that no one expects. Certainly, it's only getting more complex because people are connecting more things, but those things, the butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil, always impacted the weather in Chicago. So we just weren't able to figure out how. So I don't think it's even more relevant than ever. It's just that people are recognizing that. Some people say BANI, which is just a different way of looking instead of VUCA, looking at nonlinearity, but it doesn't make it more relevant than ever. It was fine. It was very relevant throughout the ages. That's the beauty of his philosophy.
That is a great question. I'm going to drop down to the next area here, just going down. Nigel has an easy question here for you, Bill. Did Deming ever talk about his time with Protzman and Sarosan?
He mentioned it in his books. But I mean, Protzman and Sarason were part of the military SCAP effort, and Deming was first brought over to help survey what was left in Japan, whether it was, and that was part of his reason for talking with Mahalanobis to be able to figure out the crops and just what was left in Japan, and so after, even though SCAP was active for a number of years, JUSE were the folks that invited him over when they found out his tie to quality and statistical methods for improvement.
That's great. Thank you, Bill. I think we've got time for just a few questions left. So, Bill, I'm going to help curate one of these. And I think we've got some of these you've answered and touched on. Let's see here. I think we did really well on the AI. Going back to the human side, Dennis has a question here. What is the method you'd recommend to measure the impact of executive language on quality culture?
Again, on any study, what is your aim? What action do you want to take? I mean, you obviously first would want to define how you would like to categorize executive language, whether it's not, let's see, not, well, I'm sure there are ways to be able to categorize that as far as the tone and the specific words that are used and so how are you going to, you need to first define executive language, what characteristics you're looking for, and what characteristics of quality culture that you're looking at. I mean, there are what logistic regression could do that. I'm sure there are ways to be able to look at language once you've, in the tones, as I said, once you've established how you're going to measure what you think the quality culture is. And then the question for anyone is, what's your aim? What are you trying to do? What action are you going to take?
That's great. All right, we're going to open it up to Gilbert. Gilbert, go ahead and come off mute and ask your question.
On a lighter note, I just wanted to find out from Bill, the flip chart behind you, was it put there for a specific reason, or just behind you, the flip chart?
What's behind me is my office.
The flip chart
Oh,
behind you.
okay. I thought the flip chart was
the
for
flip chart.
Yeah.
The flip chart. We're working on ways to be able to help people take action on their vision. First, to develop their vision, and second, to take action on it. How to master it. So our team is looking at doing that, led by Miss Kathy McGrath, who is attending as well. So we're trying to get back in the saddle, and because there's been a lot of misunderstanding, at least from my perspective, a lot of misunderstanding of what Dr. Deming said and what he was espousing, and we'd like to get back and begin to help people.
Thank you.
That's great. So I want to bring Dr. M back on. Dr. M, we're at the time now in today's webinar where we're going to give the vote of thanks. Are we going to bring on another speaker, or is that something that you want to do, Dr. M?
No, it's Gilbert that's going to give the vote of thanks.
Oh, perfect. Gilbert, just come. Why did you even go off mute? It's perfect transition. Let's go ahead and we'll go back to Gilbert for the vote of thanks. Bill, I just got to say, is being able to have you here and be part of this, asking and answering questions, and meeting with you on the weekend before Deming's birthday made it feel like a real birthday party. So thank you. I've really enjoyed myself. Gilbert, go ahead, take it away.
Where's the cake, though? Where's the cake?
Right. I know the cake will come in different forms, in the sense of in the way we are really, we really appreciate the talk. So first of all, I would say evening to everyone and morning to some people, and also looking at that, everyone is from different part of the world. I just wanted to say thank you all for being here. I'm truly humbled to be part of this wonderful gathering on this occasion. On behalf of the organizing team, it is my privilege to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Bill in terms of for the delivering of this inspiring keynote on this special occasion. The birth and the anniversary of Dr. Edwards Deming, it is one of those things which we say we live to keep on remembering as part of what this whole occasion is all about, to say that Dr. Deming, what role did he play in terms of when it comes to quality? So not so many people have been exposed to Dr. Deming's philosophy the way Bill has been. And testament to that is what we heard today when he was talking much about the three things which he shared with us in terms of what we need to also to look at as part of our way of chartering the way the next 125 years which are coming into our life. The beauty about what we have learned today has been much of about what happens not in the textbook scenario. It's more about what happens in the practice, in terms of when we go on to the floor, especially when it comes to operations and all the different areas of where we do actually operate in, and also bringing in systems thinking in the way we practice, and also respecting of other people, and also applying the profound knowledge which we talk about, and Dr. Deming talked about in all his learnings to us. Yes, Dr. Deming said to Bill, "He was my student, there's none better in the world." That statement alone speaks volume. As we reflect on this special occasion, Bill took us beyond textbooks, as I said before. And he is reminding that quality is not a department, but a way of life. On this day of remembrance, your words, Bill, have not only honored Dr. Deming's legacy, they've reignited it to the level of saying that, no, let's keep on moving. And I would like also to thank the organizing team, Kamal Khan, Mr. Prakashi, Vikas Negi, Zankana Broker, Philippi. I know Philippi have been operating behind the scenes, so we just have to make sure, take recognition of that. And Dr. M, for keeping us busy, especially the whole team which was involved, the volunteers, and each one of you present for making this occasion one of deep reflection and renewed purpose. Bill, it has been an honor and a cherished memory for all of us to share this moment with you. On behalf of everyone here, thank you for your time, your humility, and your enduring commitment to advancing Dr. Deming's vision. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in expressing our deepest appreciation with a resounding round of applause for Bill's. So guys, I would like you to clap your hands for Bill. Thank you. May we continue to live and lead with the wisdom we've been reminded of today. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Flippy music.
Yeah, and with that, we're going to conclude the webinar. Dr. M cut me off guard. I don't have music handy, but everybody, thank you so much for coming. You don't have to stay here. Go out and celebrate and take action like Bill has asked us to. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, everyone.